Acquainted with the Night by Robert Frost. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. I have been one acquainted with the night. I have walked out in rain and back in rain. I have outwalked the furthest city light. I have looked down the saddest city lane. I have passed by the watchman on his beat and dropped my eyes, unwilling to explain. I have stood still and stopped the sound of feet when far away an interrupted cry came over houses from another street, but not to call me back or say goodbye. And further still, at an unearthly height, one luminary clock against the sky proclaimed the time was neither wrong nor right. I have been one acquainted with the night. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
All Hail Red Cross by Clara M. Bede. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. All hail, Red Cross, white robes of light, all hail. On brave and noble brows thy symbol shines. A cry for help is never called in vain, for these courageous ones go everywhere, on sea or land, in sun and stormy sky. They face all dangers, carry succor forth to save their fellow men. With speed and skill the aid goes out to rescue friend and foe. They know no enemy, but heed each call. A line is thrown to stranded waif or man. In flood they rush like water down the slope to bring relief to those who toss in waves. They care for mothers left to starve, alone. In pestilence they labor long to soothe the fevered brow and ease the gnawing pain with medicine and shelter, food and clothes. In war the wound is dressed and duly nursed with gentle, supple hands, with nourishment for mind and body. Cross of Red, all hail! They serve for us most willingly and well, then chide themselves when they have come too late, like mothers when their sons have fallen short. In early dawn and through the night they toil. O God, do bless this noble work of love. Let's give and further this most worthy cause. All hail, Red Cross, white robes of hope, all hail! End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Another Year by John White Chadwick. Read for LibriVox.org by Patrick Randall. That this shall be a better year than any passed away, I dare not at its open door to wish or hope or pray. Not that the years already gone were wearisome and lone, that so with hope too long deferred my heart has timid grown. Nay, rather that they all have been so sweet to me and good, that if for better I should ask, 'twould seem ingratitude. And so with things far off and strange I do not care to cope, but look in memory's face, and learn what largesse I may hope. Another year of setting suns, of stars by night revealed, of springing grass, of tender buds by winter's snow concealed. Another year of summer's glow, of autumn's gold and brown, of waving fields and ruddy fruit the branches weighing down. Another year of happy work, that better is than play, of simple cares, and love that grows more sweet from day to day. Another year of baby mirth and childhood's blessed ways, of thinkers' thought and prophets' dream and poets' tender lays. Another year at beauty's feast, at every moment spread, of silent hours when grow distinct the voices of the dead. Another year to follow hard where better souls have trod. Another year of life's delight. Another year of God. Brooklyn, January 1st, 1873. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Auld Lang Syne by John White Chadwick. Read for LibriVox.org by Patrick Randall. It singeth low in every heart. We hear it each and all. A song of those who answer not, however we may call. They throng the silence of the breast. We see them as of yore, the kind, the brave, the true, the sweet, who walk with us no more. 'Tis hard to take the burden up when these have laid it down. They brightened all the joy of life. They softened every frown. But oh, 'tis good to think of them when we are troubled sore. Thanks be to God that such have been, although they are no more. More homelike seems the vast unknown since they have entered there. To follow them were not so hard, wherever they may fare. They cannot be where God is not, on any sea or shore. Whate'er betides, thy love abides, our God, for evermore. April 1876. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
One Autumn Night by Eugene Field. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. A calm, delightful autumn night. A moon's mysterious, misty light. A maiden at her window height, in proper robe of fleecy white. The little wicket gate ajar, a lover tripping from afar, with tuneful voice and light guitar, to woo his radiant guiding star. The lute gave forth a plaintive twang. Oh, how that doting lover sang! A bulldog with invidious fang, a nip, a grip, and then a pang. A maiden swooning in affright, a lover in a piteous plight. A canine quivering with delight. A wild, delirious autumn night. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Awful Bugaboo by Eugene Field. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. There was an awful bugaboo, whose eyes were red and hair was blue. His teeth were long and sharp and white, and he went prowling round at night. A little girl was tucked in bed, a pretty nightcap on her head. Her mamma heard her pleading, say, "Oh, do not take the lamp away." But mamma took away the lamp, and oh, the room was dark and damp. The little girl was scared to death. She did not dare to draw her breath. And all at once the bugaboo came rattling down the chimney flue. He perched upon the little bed and scratched the girl until she bled. He drank the blood and scratched again. The little girl cried out in vain. He picked her up and off he flew, this naughty, naughty bugaboo. So children, when in bed tonight, don't let them take away the light, or else the awful bugaboo may come and fly away with you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Barefoot Boy by James Whitcomb Riley. LibriVox.org. A barefoot boy, I mark him at his play, for May is here once more, and so is he. His dusty trousers rolled half to the knee, and his bare ankles grimy, too, as they. Cross hatchings of the nettle in array of feverish stripes hint vividly to me of woody pathways winding endlessly along the creek, where even yesterday he plunged his shrinking body, gasped and shook, yet called the water warm, with never lack of joy. And so, half enviously, I look upon this graceless barefoot and his track, his toe stubbed, aye, his big toe-nail knocked back like unto the clasp of an old pocket-book. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Beethoven by Robert S. Carr. Read for LibriVox.org by Dale Grothmann. A few weird chords of music, riding the midnight winds, snatched my mind away from me, and out where the dawn begins. My mind came back with fantasies like cobwebs' gray festoons, looped across my consciousness to sing of gibbous moons, of new graves seen by lightning, and skulls in the seashore's sand, of black ghouls laired in the gloomy woods, where crumbling tombstones stand, of tortured stars that faint and fall 1,000,000,000 miles through space, of moaning ghosts in haunted caves, and snakes with maiden's face. When the weird chords ceased, my mind came back, like a vampire flapping home, in the dim dawn light from a ghastly night, no more, I hope, to roam. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Blind Man and the Elephant by John Godfrey Saxe. Read for LibriVox by Timothy Flogg. It was 6 men of Indostan, to learning much inclined, who went to see the elephant, though all of them were blind, that each by observation might satisfy his mind. The first approached the elephant, and happening to fall against his broad and sturdy side, at once began to bawl, "God bless me, but the elephant is very like a wall." The second, feeling of the tusk, cried, "Ho, what have we here? So very round and smooth and sharp? To me 'tis mighty clear, this wonder of an elephant is very like a spear." The third approached the animal, and happening to take the squirming trunk within his hands, thus boldly up and spake, "I see," quoth he, "the elephant is very like a snake." The fourth reached out an eager hand, and felt about the knee. "What most this wondrous beast is like is mighty plain," quoth he, "'tis clear enough the elephant is very like a tree." The fifth, who chanced to touch the ear, said, "Even the blindest man can tell what this resembles most. Deny the fact who can. This marvel of an elephant is very like a fan." The sixth no sooner had begun about the beast to grope, than seizing on the swinging tail that fell within his scope, "I see," quoth he, "the elephant is very like a rope." And so these men of Indostan disputed loud and long, each in his own opinion exceeding stiff and strong, though each was partly in the right, and all were in the wrong. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Buttercup Days by A. A. Milne. Read for LibriVox.org by Joy Dunne. Buttercup Days. Where is Anne? Head above the buttercups, walking by the stream, down among the buttercups. Where is Anne? Walking with her man, lost in a dream, lost among the buttercups. What has she got in that little brown head? Wonderful thoughts which can never be said. What has she got in that firm little fist of hers? Somebody's thumb, and it feels like Christopher's. Where is Anne? Close to her man. brown head, gold head, in and out the buttercups. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Carpe Diem by John White Chadwick. Read for LibriVox.org by Patrick Randall. O soul of mine, how few and short the years, ere thou shalt go the way of all thy kind, and here no more thy joy or sorrow find, at any fount of happiness or tears. Yea, and how soon shall all that thee endears to any heart that beats with love for thee, be everywhere forgotten, utterly, with all thy loves and joys and hopes and fears. But, O my soul, because these things are so, be thou not cheated of today's delight. When the night cometh, it may well be night. Now it is day. See that no minute's glow of all the shining hours unheeded goes, no fount of rightful joy by thee untasted flows. 1876. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Certain Lady by Dorothy Parker. Read for LibriVox.org by Rebekah Salisbury. Oh, I can smile for you and tilt my head, and drink your rushing words with eager lips, and paint my mouth for you a fragrant red, and trace your brows with tutored fingertips. When you rehearse your list of loves to me, oh, I can laugh and marvel, rapturous-eyed, and you can laugh back, nor can you ever see the thousand little deaths my heart has died. And you believe so well, I know my part, that I am gay as morning, light as snow, and all the straining things within my heart you'll never know. Oh, I can laugh and listen when we meet, and you bring tales of fresh adventurings, of ladies delicately indiscreet, of lingering hands and gently whispered things, and you are pleased with me and strive anew to sing me sagas of your late delights. Thus do you want me, marvelling, gay and true. Nor do you see my staring eyes of nights, and when in search of novelty you stray, oh, I can kiss you blithely as you go, and what goes on, my love, while you're away, you'll never know. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Compassion by Thomas Hardy. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. An ode in celebration of the centenary of the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Backward among the dusky years, a lonesome lamp is seen arise, lit by a few vain pioneers before incredulous eyes. We read the legend that it lights. Why should, throughout this land of historied rights, mild creatures, despot-doomed, bewildered, plead their often hunger, thirst, pangs, prisonment, in deep dumb gaze, more eloquent than tongues of widest heed? What was faint written, read in a breath, in that year 10 times 10 away? A larger, clearer conscience saith more sturdily today. But still those innocents are thralls to throbless hearts, near, far, that hear no calls of honour towards their too dependent frail. And from Columbia Cape to Ind we see how helplessness breeds tyranny in power above a sail. Cries still are heard in secret nooks, till hushed with gag or slit or thud, and hideous dens whereon none looks are blotched with needless blood. But here, in battlings, patient, slow, much has been won, more may be than we know, and on we labour, stressful. A line on, a mighty voice calls, but may the good prevail, and blessed are the merciful, calls yet a mightier one. January 22nd, 1924. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Cranes of Ibycus by Friedrich Schiller. Translated by Edgar A. Bowring. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Once to the song and chariot fight, where all the tribes of Greece unite, on Corinth's isthmus joyously, the god-loved Ibycus drew nigh. On him Apollo had bestowed the gift of song and strains inspired. So with light staff he took his road, from Rhegium by the Godhead fired. Acro Corinth on mountain high now bursts upon the wanderer's eye, and he begins with pious dread Poseidon's grove of firs to tread. Naught moves around him save a swarm of cranes who guide him on his way, who from far southern regions warm have hither come in squadron grey. Thou friendly band, all hail to thee, who leads me safely o'er the sea. I deem thee as a favouring sign, my destiny resembles thine. Both come from a far distant coast, both pray for some kind sheltering place. Propitious toward us be the host, who from the stranger wards disgrace. And on he hastes in joyous mood, and reaches soon the middle wood, when on a narrow bridge by force 2 murderers sudden bar his course. He must prepare him for the fray, but soon his wearied hand sinks low. Inured the gentle lyre to play, it ne'er has strung the deadly bow. On gods and men for aid he cries, no saviour to his prayer replies. However far his voice he sends, naught living to his cry attends. And must I in a foreign land, unwept, deserted, perish here, falling beneath a murderous hand, where no avenger can appear? Deep wounded down he sinks at last, when lo, the crane's wings rustle past. He hears, though he no more can see, their voices screaming fearfully. By you, ye cranes that soar on high, if not another voice is heard, be borne to heaven my murder cry. He speaks, and dies too with the word. The naked corpse ere long is found, and though defaced by many a wound, his host in Corinth soon could tell the features that he loved so well. And is it thus I find thee now, who hope the pine's victorious crown to place upon the singer's brow, illumined by his bright renown? The news is heard with grief by all, met at Poseidon's festival. All Greece is conscious of the smart, he leaves a void in every heart. And to the Prytanis swift hie the people, and they urge him on, the dead man's manes to pacify, and with the murderer's blood atone. But where's the trace that, from the throng, the people's streaming crowds among, allured there by the sport so bright, can bring the villain black to light? By craven robbers was he slain, or by some envious hidden foe? that Helios only can explain, whose rays illume all things below. Perchance with shameless step and proud he threads e'en now the Grecian crowd, whilst vengeance follows in pursuit, gloats over his transgression's fruit. The very gods perchance he braves, upon the threshold of their fane, joins boldly in the human waves that haste yon theatre to gain. For there the Grecian tribes appear, fast pouring in from far and near. On close-packed benches sit they there, the stage the weight can scarcely bear. Like ocean billows hollow roar the teeming crowds of living man, toward the cerulean heavens upsoar, in bow of ever-widening span. Who knows the nation, who the name of all who there together came? From Theseus' town, from Aulis' strand, from Phocis, from the Spartan land. From Asia's distant coast they wend, from every island of the sea, and from the stage they here ascend the chorus's dread melody, who, sad and solemn as of old, with footstep measured and controlled, advancing from the far background, circle the theatre's wide round. Thus mortal women never move, no mortal home to them gave birth. Their giant bodies tower above, high o'er the puny sons of earth. With loins in mantle black concealed, within their fleshless hands they wield the torch that with a dull red glows, while in their cheek no life-blood flows, and where the hair is floating wide and loving round a mortal brow, here snakes and adders are descried, whose bellies swell with poison now. And standing in a fearful ring, the dread and solemn chant they sing, and through the bosom thrilling goes, and round the sinner fetters throws. Sense robbing of heart-maddening power, the Furies' strains resound through air. The listener's marrow they devour, the lyre can yield such numbers ne'er. Happy the man who blemish-free preserves a soul of purity. Near him we ne'er avenging come, he freely o'er life's path may roam. But woe to him who, hid from view, hath done the deed of murder base. Upon his heels we close pursue, we who belong to night's dark race. And if he thinks to 'scape by flight, winged we appear, our snare of might around his flying feet to cast, so that he needs must fall at last. Thus we pursue him, tiring ne'er, our wrath repentance cannot quell. On to the shadows, and e'en there we leave him not in peace to dwell. Thus singing they the dance resume, and silence like that of the tomb o'er the whole house lies heavily, as if the deity were nigh. And staid and solemn as of old, circling the theatre's wide round, with footstep measured and controlled, they vanish in the far background. Between deceit and truth each breast now doubting hangs by all possessed, and homage pays to that dread might that judges what is hid from sight, that fathomless, inscrutable, the gloomy skein of fate entwines, that reads the bosom's depths full well, yet flies away where sunlight shines. When sudden from the tier most high a voice is heard by all to cry, see there, Timotheus! Behold the Cranes of Ibycus! The heavens become as black as night, and o'er the theatre they see, far overhead, a dusky flight of cranes approaching hastily. Of Ibycus, that name so blest, with newborn sorrow fills each breast, as waves on waves in ocean rise, from mouth to mouth it swiftly flies. Of Ibycus, whom we lament, who fell beneath the murderer's hand? What means those words that from him went? What means this crane's advancing band? And louder still become the cries, and soon this thought foreboding flies through every heart with speed of light. Observe in this the Furies' might. The poet's manes are now appeased. The murderer seeks his own arrest. Let him who spoke the word be seized, and him to whom it was addressed. That word he had no sooner spoke, than he its sound would fain revoke. In vain his mouth with terror pale tells of his guilt the fearful tale. Before the judge they drag them now, the scene becomes the tribunal. Their crimes the villains both avow, when 'neath the vengeance stroke they fall. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Death in Life by Henry Wood Nevinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Here by the lifeless wall, two souls immortal met. The sun marched over all, we cared not when he set. Love in two souls aflame joined flame and flame as one. The wall is much the same, and there's the marching sun. Quick movements of her dress, with breathings out and in, eyes closed for lovingness, the touch of skin on skin. Oh, the first touch of dear passion's will, and of all griefs the worst is that we're living still. Long before living ends, alone or on the street, we are like meeting friends, and happy not to meet. But that so dear a thing should rot before we die. O death, here is thy sting. Here, grave, thy victory.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Dedication by Marie Emily Gilchrist. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. To those who held me cheaply, to those with rudest touch, to those who hurt me deeply, because they taught me much. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Fairies by William Allingham. Read for LibriVox.org by Rebekah Salisbury. Up the airy mountain, down the rushy glen, we daren't go a-hunting, for fear of little Ben. Wee folk, good folk, trooping all together, green jacket, red cap, and white owl's feather. Down along the rocky shore some make their home. They live on crispy pancakes of yellow tide foam. Some in the reeds of the Black Mountain Lake, with frogs for their watchdogs, all night awake. High on the hilltop the old king sits. He is now so old and grey, he's nigh lost his wits. With a bridge of white mists, Clumkill he crosses, on his stately journeys from Sleeveleague to Rosses, or going up with music on cold starry nights, to sup with the queen of the gay northern lights. They stole little Bridget for 7 years long. When she came down again, her friends were all gone. They took her lightly back between the night and morrow. They thought she was fast asleep, but she was dead with sorrow. They have kept her ever since deep within the lake, on a bed of flag leaves, watching till she wake. By the craggy hillside, through the mosses bare, they have planted thorn trees for pleasure here and there. Is any man so daring as dig them up in spite? He shall find the thorny set in his bed at night. Up the airy mountain, down the rushy glen, we daren't go a-hunting for fear of little men. Wee folk, good folk, trooping all together, green jacket, red cap, and white owl's feather. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
From the Pentlands Looking North and South by John Buchan. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Around my feet the clouds are drawn in the cold mystery of the dawn. No breezes cheer, no guests intrude my mossy mist-clad solitude. When sudden down the steeps of sky flames a long lightning wind, on high the steel-blue arch shines clear and far. In the lowlands where cattle are, towns smoke, and swift a haze agleam. The firth lies like a frozen stream, reddening with morn. Tall spires of ships, like thorns about the harbour's lips, now shake faint canvas, now asleep, their salt uneasy slumbers keep, while golden grey o'er kirk and wall day wakes in the ancient capital. Before me lie the lists of strife, the caravanserai of life, whence from the gates the merchants go on the world's highways to and fro, sail laden ships, and in the street the lone foot traveller shakes his feet, and in some corner by the fire tells the old tale of heart's desire. Thither from alien seas and skies comes the far-quested merchandise. Wrought silks of Brusa, mockers wear, brown-tinted, fragrant, and the rare, thin perfumes that the rose's breath has sought immortal in her death. Gold, gems, and spice, and haply still the red rough largesse of the hill, which takes the sun and bears the vines among the haunted Apennines. And he who treads the cobbled street today in the cold north may meet, come month, come year, the dusky east, and share the caliph's secret feast. Or in the toil of wind and sun bear pilgrim staff, forlorn, fordone, till o'er the steppe, athwart the sand, gleam the far gates of Samarcand. The ringing key, the weathered face, fair skies, dusk hands, the ocean race, the palm-girt isle, the frosty shore, gale and hot suns the wide world o'er, grey north, red south, and burnished west, the goals of the old tireless quest, leap in the smoke, immortal, free, where shine yon morning fringe of sea. I turn. How still the moorlands lie, sleep-locked beneath the awakening sky. The film of morn is silver grey on the young heather and away, dim distant, set in ribs of hill, green glens are shining, stream and mill, clachan and kirk and garden ground, all silent in the hush profound, which haunts alone the hill's recess, the antique home of quietness. Nor to the folk can piper play the tune of hills and far away, for they are with them. Morn can fire no peaks of weary heart's desire, nor the red sunset flame behind some ancient ridge of longing mind. For Arcady is here, around, in lilt of stream, in the clear sound of lark and moorbird, in the bold, gay glamour of the evening gold, and so the wheel of seasons moves to kirk and market, to mild loves and modest hates, and still the sight of brown kind faces, and when night draws dark around with age and fear, theirs is the simple hope to cheer. A land of peace, where lost romance and ghostly shine of helm and lance still dwell by castled scarp and lea, and the lost homes of chivalry, and the good fairy folk, my dear, who speak for cunning souls to hear, in crook of glen and bower of hill, sing of the happy ages still. O thou, to whom man's heart is known, grant me my morning orison. Grant me the rover's path to see, the dawn arise, the daylight flee, in the far wastes of sand and sun. Grant me with venturous heart to run on the old highway, where in pain and ecstasy man strives amain, outstrips his fellows, or too weak, finds the great rest that wanderers seek. Grant me the joy of wind and brine, the zest of food, the taste of wine, the fighter's strength, the echoing strife, the high tumultuous lists of life. May I ne'er lag, nor hapless fall, nor weary at the battle call. But when the even brings surcease, grant me the happy moorland peace, that in my heart's depth ever lie, that ancient land of heath and sky, where the old rhymes and stories fall in kindly soothing pastoral. There in the hills sweet silence lies, and death himself wears friendly guise. There be my lot, my twilight stage, dear city of my pilgrimage. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
If by Rudyard Kipling. Read for LibriVox.org by Brigham Talbot. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. Yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Interlude by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Roger Smith. Interlude. The days grow shorter, the nights grow longer, the headstones thicken along the way, and life grows sadder, but love grows stronger for those who walk with us day by day. The tear comes quicker, the laugh comes slower, the courage is lesser to do and dare, and the tide of joy in the heart falls lower and seldom covers the reefs of care. But all true things in the world seem truer, and the better things of earth seem best, and friends are dear as friends are fewer, and love is all as our sun dips west. Then let us clasp hands as we walk together, and let us speak softly in love's sweet tone, for no man knows on the morrow whether we two pass on, or but one alone. End of recording. This recording is in the public domain.
I Saw in Louisiana a Live Oak Growing by Walt Whitman. Read for LibriVox.org by Avonlea Fisher. I saw in Louisiana a live oak growing. All alone stood it, and the moss hung down from the branches. Without any companion it grew there, uttering joyous leaves of dark green, and its look, rude, unbending, lusty, made me think of myself. But I wondered how it could utter joyous leaves, standing alone there, without its friend, its lover near, for I knew I could not. And I broke off a twig with a certain number of leaves upon it, and twined around it a little moss, and brought it away, and I have placed it in sight in my room. It is not needed to remind me as of my own dear friends, for I believe lately I think of little else than of them. Yet it remains to me a curious token. It makes me think of manly love. For all that, and though the live oak glistens there in Louisiana, solitary, in a wide flat space, uttering joyous leaves all its life, without a friend, a lover near, I know very well I could not. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Keepsake Moon by Marie Emily Gilchrist. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. You shall have half the moon tonight, a keepsake moon, a sovereign broken, given as a true love token. Only you must leave it there, hanging above the pasture's shoulder, shedding a dewy cobweb light through the long October night, while the grass grows wetter, colder, while through dim star-measured hours red leaves fall in dreaming showers, severed by the dripping dew, while an apple fragrance comes from the dabbled orchard grass, while each ancient cricket thrums on his horn and silver lute, there among the falling fruit, and the midnight hours pass. Summer passes, the slow earth wheels. Half of the moon I give to you, and having that, be not forlorn. The whole of it would be too much beauty to be lightly borne. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Lad That Has Gone by Robert Louis Stevenson. Read for LibriVox.org by Ike Sherr. Sing me a song of a lad that is gone. See, could that lad be I? Merry of soul, he sailed on a day over the sea to Skye. Mull was astern, rum on the port, Eag on the starboard bow. Glory of youth glowed in his soul. Where is that glory now? Sing me a song of a lad that is gone. Say, could that lad be I? Merry of soul, he sailed on a day over the sea to Skye. Give me again all that was there. Give me the sun that shone. Give me the eyes, give me the soul, give me the lad that's gone. Sing me a song of a lad that is gone. Say, could that lad be I? Merry of soul, he sailed on a day over the sea to Skye. Billow and breeze, islands and seas, mountains of rain and sun. All that was good, all that was fair, all that was me, is gone. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lake Desolation by Leavenworth McNabb. Read for LibriVox.org by Dale Grothmann. Wan waves lapped listlessly the shape-wrapped shore, where barren rocks rear shapeless, cold, and gray. Dead wind echoes make monotonous roar amid the sullen, gruesome caves of play, rousing the ghosts of secrets long since dead. Pale starshine, pure and passionless, looks down from out her hazy veil like silvered snow, leading her pallid radiance to crown the desolation broadcasts strewn below. Drear desolation, meet but for the dead. Athwart the pulseless tide, a bird of night, spirit perchance of what trod once as man, circles the gloom for aye in aimless flight, returning ever where it first began, piercing the stillness with weird notes of woe. The fernlands rank pour forth their pungent breath, poisonous breath, with deadly agues fraught, whose phosphorescent light, a wraith of death, woos wanderers will-o'-the-wisp like to the spot. Here echoes too the night bird's notes of woe. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lake Song by Jean Starr Untermeyer. Read for LibriVox.org by Nevetha Ramesh. The lapping of the water is like the weeping of women, the weeping of ancient women who grieved without rebellion. The lake falls over the shore like tears on their curving bosoms. Here is languid, luxurious wailing, the wailing of kings' daughters. So do we ever cry, a soft, unmutinous crying, when we know ourselves each a princess, locked fast within her tower. The lapping of the water is like the weeping of women, the fertile tears of women that water the dreams of men. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Last Supper by Eleanor Wiley. Read for LibriVox.org by Michael McTaggart, Seattle, Washington. Now that the shudder of the dusk begins to tremble in its groove, I am constrained to strip the husk from everything I love. So short a time remains to taste the ivory pulp, the 7 pips. My heart is happy without haste, with revelation on its lips. So calm a beauty shapes the core, so grave a blossom frames its stem. In this last minute and no more, my eyes alone shall eat of them. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lincoln by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Roger Smith. Lincoln. When God created this good world, a few stupendous peaks were hurled, and from his strong hand and they remain the wonder of the level plain. But these colossal heights are rare, while shifting sands are everywhere. So with the race, the centuries pass and nations fall like leaves of grass. They die, forgotten and unsung, while straight from God some souls are flung. To live immortal and sublime, so lives great Lincoln for all time. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Lines and Squares by A. Milne. Read for LibriVox.org by Joy Dunne. Lines and Squares. Whenever I walk on a London street, I'm ever so careful to watch my feet. And I keep in the squares in the masses of bears who wait at the corners all ready to eat. The sillies who tread in the lines of the street go back to their lairs, and I say to them, "Bears, just look how I'm walking in all of the squares." And the little bears growl to each other, "He's mine," as soon as he's silly and steps in a line. And some of the bigger bears try to pretend that they came round the corner to look for a friend. And they try to pretend that nobody cares whether you walk on the lines or squares, but only the sillies believe their talk. It's ever so important how you walk, and it's ever so jolly to call out, "Bears, just watch me walking in all the squares." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Music in the Night by Harriet Prescott Spofford. Read for LibriVox.org by Rebekah Salisbury. When stars pursue their solemn flight, oft in the middle of the night, a strain of music visits me, hushed in a moment silverly. Such rich and rapturous strains as make the very soul of silence ache with longing for the melody. All lovers in the distant dusk of summer's garden sweet as musk, pouring the blissful burden out, the breaking joy, the dying doubt, all revellers, all flown with wine, and in a madness half divine, beating the broken tune about. Or else the rude and rolling notes that leave some strolling sailors' throats, hoarse with the salt sprays it may be, of many a mile of rushing sea. Or some high-minded dreamer strays late through the solitary ways, nor heeds the listening night nor me. Or how or whence those tones be heard, hearing the slumbering soul is stirred, as when a swiftly passing light startles the shadows into flight, while one remembrance suddenly thrills through the melting melody, a strain of music in the night. Out of the darkness bursts the song, into the darkness moves along, only a chord of memory jars, only an old wound burns its scars, as the wild sweetness of the strain smites the heart with passionate pain and vanishes among the stars. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
An Ode to a Cat by Eugene Field. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. A hungry cat, a foolish rat, a lively run, exciting fun, ferocious jaws, remorseless claws, a dying squeal, a hearty meal. Alas, poor rat! Oh, happy cat! End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
O Me, O Life by Walt Whitman. Read for LibriVox.org by Avonlea Fisher. O me, O life, of the questions of these recurring, of the endless trains of the faithless, of cities filled with the foolish, of myself forever reproaching myself, for who more foolish than I, and who more faithless? Of eyes that vainly crave the light, of the objects mean, of the struggle ever renewed, of the poor results of all, of the plodding and sordid crowds I see around me, of the empty and useless years of the rest, with the rest me intertwined. The question, O me, so sad, recurring, what good amid these, O me, O life? Answer, that you are here, that life exists, and identity, that the powerful play goes on, and you will contribute a verse. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Once by the Pacific by Robert Frost. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston Tharp. The shattered water made a misty din. Great waves looked over others coming in, and thought of doing something to the shore that water never did to land before. The clouds were low and hairy in the skies, like locks blown forward in the gleam of eyes. You could not tell, and yet it looked as if the shore was lucky in being backed by cliff, the cliff in being backed by continent. It looked as if a night of dark intent was coming, and not only a night, an age. Someone had better be prepared for rage. There would be more than ocean water broken before God's last "put out the light" was spoken. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Parting by Thomas Stanley. Read for LibriVox.org by Public Domain Scholar. The Parting by Thomas Stanley. I go, dear saint, away, snatched from thy arms, by far less pleasing charms than those I did obey. But if hereafter thou shalt know that grief hath killed me, come, and on my tomb drop a tear or two, break with thy sighs the silence of my sleep, and I shall smile in death to see thee weep. Thy tears may have the power to re-inspire my ashes with new fire, or change me to some flower, which, planted twixt thy breasts, shall grow, veiled in this shape. I will dwell with thee still, court, kiss, enjoy thee too, securely will contemn all envious force, and thus united be by death's divorce. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Patriot by Henry Wood Nevinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Up from a radiant valley went the way, running between the vines and walnut trees, and crossed low Alps where peasants raked the hay, and cowbells tinkled on the laughing breeze, and joyful children shouted as they sped grass-laden sledges down, till all the air resounded joy, and mountains overhead seemed in our human mirthfulness to share. But suddenly I climbed whence I could see an ocean haze revealing tremulously where lies the path to England. Then for me it seemed as when, submerged in common life, some man goes cheerily on from year to year, peace in his breast, unsanctified by strife, and placid ease, unchastened by a fear, till as he passes down a village street, a Sabbath bell tolls with persistence dim. He hears the shuffle of church-going feet, and from the door drones out the dismal hymn. Where then is peace? The dull repeated strain wakes the old serpent of a nobler pain, and stirs a trouble at the heart again.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Recantation by Muriel Stewart. Read for LibriVox.org by Tressa Sanders on January 20th, 2024. What once to me was fierce and sweet is bitter now. The road my feet took once in such gay hardihood, my spirit cannot compass it. And the old sin I huggled once is now grown easy to renounce. So to the source of power and peace, backward my errant spirit runs. Now to the hills whence help may come, where wild bees shape their honeycomb. To a little bed of watercress, I would go back, I would go home. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Roman Pleasantry. Read for LibriVox.org by Michael McTaggart, Seattle, Washington. Your country house is not exposed to any blustering gale, but since your mortgagee's foreclosed, it's now exposed for sale. And this exposure, none can doubt, is likely, friend, to freeze you out. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sea by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Read for LibriVox.org by Roger Smith. Sea? If one proves weak who you fancied strong, or false who you fancied true, just ease the smart of your wounded heart by the thought that it is not you. If many forget a promise made, and your faith falls into the dust, then look meanwhile in your mirror and smile, and say, I am the one to trust. If you search in vain for an aging face, and harrowed by fretful fears, then make right now and keep a vow to grow in grace with the years. If you lose your faith in the world of man as you go from the port of youth, just say as you sail, I will not fail to keep to the course of truth. For this is the way and the only way, at least so it seems to me. It is up to you to be and do what you look for in others. See? End of recording. This recording is in the public domain.
The Shepherd by William Blake. Read for LibriVox.org by Ike Sherr.
How sweet is the shepherd's sweet lot! From the morn to the evening he strays. He shall follow his sheep all the day, and his tongue shall be filled with praise. For he hears the lamb's innocent call, and he hears the ewes' tender reply. He is watchful while they are in peace, for they know when the shepherd is nigh.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Short Wooing by Henry King. Read for LibriVox.org by Public Domain Scholar. The Short Wooing. Like an oblation set before a shrine, fair one, I offer up this heart of mine. Whether the saint accept my gift or no, I'll neither fear nor doubt before I know. For he whose faintest trust prevents reply, doth his own suits, denial, prophecy. Your will the sentence is, who free as fate, can bid my love proceed, or else retreat. And from short views, that verdict is decreed, which seldom doth one audience exceed. Love asks no dull probation, for like light conveys his nimble influence at first sight. It need not therefore importune or press. This were to extort unwilling happiness, and much against affection might I sin, to tire and weary what I seek to win. Towns which, by lingering siege enforced be, oft makes both sides repent the victory. Be mistress of yourself, and let me thrive, or suffer by your own prerogative. Yet stay, since you are judge, who in one breath bear uncontrolled power of life and death. Remember, sweet pity doth best become those lips which must pronounce the suitor's tune. If I find that my spark of chaste desire shall kindle into Hymen's holy fire, else like sad flowers will these verses prove to stick the coffin of rejected love. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Shrine by Henry Wood Nevinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. I too was born a pilgrim, and have sought from land to land, by holy reverence led, the relics of mankind's immortal dead, resting in shrines elaborately wrought by kings in adoration, and have brought unwonted gifts to many a saintly head, which lay unnoticed in the common bed whose counterpane is grass. But now as naught I deem such pilgrimages. Ancient stones and mouldering sanctitudes, what time for them, when morning, noon, and eve I kneel apart, turning to one within whose hallowed bones beats, warm with life, that miracle of a heart, which is my Mecca and Jerusalem.
End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Snowstorm by John Clare. Read for LibriVox.org by Garth Burton. What a night! The wind howls, hisses, and but stops to howl more loud, while the snow volley keeps incessant batter at the window pane, making our comfort feel as sweet again. And in the morning, when the tempest drops, at every cottage door mountainous heaps of snow lie drifted, that all entrance stops until the besom and the shovel gain the path, and leave a wall on either side. The shepherd rambling valleys, white and wide, with new sensations his old memory fills, when hedges left at night, no more descried, are turned to one white sweep of curving hills, and trees turned bushes half their bodies hide. The boy that goes to fodder with surprise walks o'er the gate he opened yesternight. The hedges all have vanished from his eyes, e'en some tree tops the sheep could reach to bite. The novel scene emboldens new delight, and, though with cautious steps his sports begin, he bolder shuffles the huge hills of snow, till down he drops and plunges to the chin, and struggles much, and oft escape to win. Then turns and laughs, but dare not further go, for deep the grass and bushes lie below, where little birds that soon at eve went in with heads tucked in their wings now pine for day, and little field boys o'er their heads can stray. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Song for Old Love by Muriel Stewart. Read for LibriVox.org by Tressa Sanders on January 20th, 2024. There shall be a song for both of us that day, though fools say you have long outlived your songs, and when perhaps, because your hair is gray, you go unsung, to whom all praise belongs. And no men kiss your hands, your fragile hands, folded like empty shells on sea-spurned sands. And you that were dawn, whereat men shouted once, are sunset now, but with one worshipper. Then to your twilight heart this song shall be, sweeter than those that did your youth announce. For your brave, beautiful spirit is lovelier than once your lovely body was to me. Your folded hands and your shut eyelids stir, a passion that time has crowned with sanctity. Young fools shall wonder why, your youth being over, you are so sung still. But your heart will know that he who loved your soul was your true lover, and the last song alone was worthy you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Song in Winter by George W. Cronin. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Burning stars in a frosty sky, threadbare winds from the hollow west, give us a garment of beauty, they cry, for the waters of truth our throats are dry. And phantoms of chaos uncover the bones of our breast, leaving us little rest. Bitter stars in a frozen sky, tattered winds from the lonely west, haggard beggars of hours that die, begging the gift of a golden lie. Is it with you as with us, no rest, no rest? Is it with you no rest? The lacy chequer of aerial boughs that winter weaves with delicate wizardry. Far away, who knows how far, against the flaming calm of winter twilight, I hear the voice of speed, muffled and hoarse, sounding across the hills. Locomotive, locomotive, over the hills at night, running on your far-away groove with the husky pant of things that move and cannot turn to left or right, of things that toil and things that pass, in the murk of smoke and the stench of gas. Surf of the monstrous city, what pity, oh, what pity for the dearth of your delight. Locomotive, locomotive, over the hills at night. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Superfluous Advice by Dorothy Parker. Read for LibriVox.org by Michael McTaggart, Seattle, Washington. Should they whisper false of you, never trouble to deny. Should the words they say be true, weep and storm and swear they lie. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Three Witches by Ernest Dowson. Read for LibriVox.org by Dale Grothmann. All the moon-shed nights are over, and the days of gray and dun. There is neither May nor clover, and the day and night are one. Not a hamlet, not a city meets our strained and tearless eyes, in a plain without pity, where the wan grass droops and dies. We shall wander through the meaning of a day and see no light, for our lichened arms are leaning on the ends of endless night. We, the children of Astarte, dear abortions of the moon, in a gay and silent party we are writing to you soon. Burning ramparts, ever burning, to the flame which never dies, we are yearning, 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 with our gay and tearless eyes. In the plain without a pity, not a hamlet, not a city, where the wan grass droops and dies. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Ticonderoga, A Legend of the West Highlands by Robert Louis Stevenson. Read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Ticonderoga. This is the tale of the man who heard a word in the night, in the land of the heathery hills, in the days of the feud and the fight. By the sides of the rainy sea, where never a stranger came, on the awful lips of the dead, he heard the outlandish name. It sang in his sleeping ears, it hummed in his waking head, the name Ticonderoga, the utterance of the dead. 1. The saying of the name. On the lock sides of Appin, when the mist blew from the sea, a steward stood with a Cameron, an angry man was he. The blood beat in his ears, the blood ran hot to his head, the mist blew from the sea, and there was the Cameron dead. Oh, what have I done to my friend? Oh, what have I done to myself, that he should be cold and dead, and I in the danger of all? Nothing but danger about me, danger behind and before, death at wait in the heather, in Appin and Marmore, hate at all the ferries, and death at each of the fords, Camerons priming gunlocks, and Camerons sharpening swords. But this was a man of counsel, this was a man of a score. There dwelt no porkier Stuart in Appin or Marmore. He looked on the blowing mist, he looked on the awful dead, and there came a smile on his face, and there slipped a thought in his head. Out over cairn and moss, out over scrog and score, he ran as runs the clansman that bears the cross of war. His heart beat in his body, his hair clove to his face, when he came at last in the gloaming to the dead man's brother's place. The east was white with the moon, the west with the sun was red, and there in the house doorway stood the brother of the dead. I have slain a man to my danger, I have slain a man to my death. I put my soul into your hands, the panting Stuart saith. I lay it bare in your hands, for I know your hands are leal, and be you my targe and bulwark from the bullet and the steel. Then up and spoke the Cameron, and gave him his hand again. There shall never a man in Scotland set faith in me in vain. And whatever man you have slaughtered, of whatever name or line, by my sword and yonder mountain, I make your quarrel mine. I bid you in to my fireside, I share with you house and hall. It stands upon my honour to see you safe from all. It fell in the time of midnight, when the fox barked in the den, and the plaids were over the faces in all the houses of men, that as the living Cameron lay sleepless on his bed, out of the night and the other world came into him the dead. My blood is on the heather, my bones are on the hill. There is joy in the home of ravens, that the young shall eat their fill. My blood is poured in the dust, my soul is spilled in the air, and the man that hath undone me sleeps in my brother's care. À moi for your death, my brother, but if all of my house were dead, I couldna withdraw the plighted hand, nor break the word once said. Oh, what shall I say to our father in the place to which I fare? Oh, what shall I say to our mother, who greets to see me there? And to all the kindly Camerons that have lived and died long syne, is this the word you send them, false-hearted brother of mine? It's neither fear nor duty, it's neither quick nor dead, shall gar me withdraw the plighted hand, or break the word once said. Thrice in the time of midnight, when the fox barked in the den, and the plaids were over the faces in all the houses of men. Thrice as the living Cameron lay sleepless on his bed, out of the night and the other world came into him the dead, and cried to him for vengeance on the man that laid him low. And thrice the living Cameron told the dead Cameron no. Thrice have you seen me, brother, but now shall see me no more, till you meet your angry fathers upon the farther shore. Thrice have I spoken, and now, before the cock be heard, I take my leave for ever with the naming of a word. It shall sing in your sleeping ears, it shall hum in your waking head, the name Ticonderoga, and the warning of the dead. Now when the night was over, and the time of people's fears, the Cameron walked abroad, and the word was in his ears. Many a name I know, but never a name like this. Oh, where shall I find a skilly man shall tell me what it is? With many a man he counselled of high and low degree, with the herdsmen of the mountains and the fishers of the sea. And he came and went unweary, and read the books of yore, and the runes that were written of old on stones upon the moor. And many a name he was told, but never the name of his fears, never in east or west, the name that rang in his ears. Names of men and of clans, names for the grass and the tree, for the smallest tarn in the mountains, the smallest reef in the sea. Names for the high and low, the names of the craig and the flat, but in all the land of Scotland, never a name like that. 2. The Seeking of the Name. And now there was speech in the south, and a man of the south that was wise, a periwigged lord of London, called on the clans to rise. And the riders rose, and the summons came to the western shore, to the land of the sea and the heather, to Appin and Mamore. It called on all to gather from every scrog and score that loved their father's tartan and the ancient game of war. And down the watery valley and up the windy hill, once more as in the olden, the pipes were sounding shrill. Again in Highland sunshine the naked steel was bright, and the lads once more in tartan went forth again to fight. Oh, why should I dwell here with a weird upon my life, when the clansmen shout for battle and the war swords clash in strife? I canna joy at feast, I canna sleep in bed, for the wonder of the word and the warning of the dead. It sings in my sleeping ears, it hums in my waking head, the name Ticonderoga, the utterance of the dead. Then up and with the fighting men to march away from here, till the cry of the great war pipe shall drown it in my ear. Where flew King George's ensign, the plaided soldiers went. They drew the sword in Germany, in Flanders pitched the tent. The bells of foreign cities rang far across the plain. They passed the happy Rhine, they drank the rapid Main. Through Asiatic jungles the tartans filed their way, and the neighing of the war pipes struck terror in Cathay. Many a name have I heard, he thought, in all the tongues of men, full many a name both here and there, full many both now and then. When I was at home in my father's house, in the land of the naked knee, between the eagles that fly in the lift and the herrings that swim in the sea, And now that I am a captain man, with a braw cockade in my hat, many a name have I heard, he thought, but never a name like that. 3. The place of the name. There fell a war in a woody place, lay far across the sea, a war of the march in the murk midnight, and the shot from behind the tree, the shaven head and the painted face, the silent foot in the wood, in a land of a strange outlandish tongue that was hard to be understood. It fell about the gloaming, the general stood with his staff. He stood and he looked east and west, with little mind to laugh. Far have I been, and much have I seen, and kent both gain and loss. But here we have woods on every hand, and a kittle water to cross. Far have I been, and much have I seen, but never the beat of this. And there's one must go down to that water side, to see how deep it is. It fell in the dusk of the night, when unco things betide, the skilly captain, the Cameron, went down to that water side. Canny and soft the captain went, and a man of the woody land, with the shaven head and the painted face, went down at his right hand. It fell in the quiet night, there was never a sound to ken, but all of the woods to the right and left lay filled with painted men. Far have I been and much have I seen, both as a man and boy, but never have I set forth a foot on so perilous an employ. It fell in the dusk of the night, when unco things betide, that he was aware of a captain man drew near to the water's side. He was aware of his coming, down in the gloaming alone, and he looked in the face of the man, and lo, the face was his own. This is my weird, said he, and now I ken the worst, for many shall fall in the morn, but I shall fall with the first. O you of the outland tongue, you of the painted face, is this the place of my death? Can you tell me the name of this place? Since the Frenchmen have been here, they have called it Sault Marie, but that is a name for priests, and not for you and me. It went by another word, quoth he of the shaving head. It was called Ticonderoga in the days of the great dead. And it fell on the morrow's morning, in the fiercest of the fight, that the Cameron bit the dust, as he foretold that night. And far from the hills of heather, and far from the isles of the sea, he sleeps in the place of the name, as it was doomed to be. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Tree at My Window by Robert Frost. Read for LibriVox.org by Winston, Tharp. Tree at my window, window tree, my sash is lowered when night comes on, but let there never be curtain drawn between you and me. Vague dream head lifted out of the ground, and thing next most diffused a cloud, not all your light tongues talking aloud could be profound. But tree, I have seen you, taken and tossed, and if you have seen me when I slept, you have seen me when I was taken and swept and all but lost. That day she put our heads together, fate had her imagination about her. Your head so much concerned with outer, mine with inner weather. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Waking Year by Emily Dickinson. Read for LibriVox.org by Ike Sherr. A lady red upon the hill her annual secret keeps. A lady white within the field in placid lily sleeps. The tidy breezes with their brooms sweep vale and hill and tree. Prithee, my pretty housewives, who may expected be? The neighbours do not yet suspect. The woods exchange a smile, orchard and buttercup and bird, in such a little while. And yet, how still the landscape stands, how nonchalant the wood, as if the resurrection were nothing very odd. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
When I Heard at the Close of the Day by Walt Whitman. Read for LibriVox.org by Avonlea Fisher. When I heard at the close of the day how my name had been received with plaudits in the capital, still it was not a happy night for me that followed. And else, when I caroused, or when my plans were accomplished, still I was not happy. But the day when I rose at dawn from the bed of perfect health, refreshed, singing, inhaling the ripe breath of autumn, when I saw the full moon in the west grow pale and disappear in the morning light, when I wandered alone over the beach and undressing bathed, laughing with the cool waters, and saw the sun rise, and when I thought how my dear friend, my lover, was on his way coming, oh, then I was happy. Oh, then each breath tasted sweeter, and all that day my food nourished me more, and the beautiful day passed well. And the next came with equal joy, and with the next at evening came my friend. And that night, while all was still, I heard the waters roll slowly, continually, up the shores. I heard the hissing rustle of the liquid sands as directed to me, whispering to congratulate me. For the one I love most lay sleeping by me under the same cover in the cool night. In the stillness, in the autumn moonbeams, his face was inclined toward me, and his arm lay lightly around my breast. And that night I was happy. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Winter Fantasy by Emma K. Parrish. Read for LibriVox.org by Garth Burton. Beneath a grotto, roofed with snow, low down against the cobble wall, I hid so still no soul could know that anyone was there at all. I heard faint sounds, besides the tap the crisp breeze dropped upon my hair. Faint, wild-born sounds. One was the rap the squirrel's tail made on his cap, and one the joyous little air a dry leaf sang from some weed tall, a tinkle on the icy wall. The mouse, the chipmunk, flitted past as they were moonbeams, elfin cast. Their lissom footsteps came and went like summer shadows on a tent, or little stitches in a quilt, or bossy frets within the gilt of some rich carving, quaint and old, all intricate dim knots of gold. So did those braided footsteps go beside my bower, to and fro. What found I there, down in the snow? Naught, naught, save this I've told to thee. And yet, I seem to know the winter's heart more perfectly. The very winter's spirit streamed in iridescent crystals by, and wondrous was his smile that beamed soft splendour from the sunlit sky. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Wood and the Shore by Muriel Stewart. Read for LibriVox.org by Tressa Sanders on January 20th, 2024. The low bay melts into a ring of silver and slips it on the shore's reluctant finger. Though in an hour the tide will turn, will tremble, forsaking her because the mood persuades him. But the black wood that leans and sighs above her, no hour can change, no moon can slave or summon. Though leaning to the tide she hears nor heeds him. Then comes the dark, on sleepy shell-strewn beaches, o'er long, pale leagues of sand and cold, clear water. She hears the tide go out toward the moonlight. The wood still leans. Weeping she turns to seek him, and his black hair all night is on her bosom. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
A Wreath for Persephone by Marie Emily Gilchrist. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. Weaving soft garlands the meadows she roved. These are the flowers Persephone loved. Almond and asphodel, violets blue, myrtle and marjoram, roses and rue, lilies and lotus buds, parsley and thyme, amaranth, cowslips, and flowering lime. Dreaming of summer, dark meadows she roved. These are the flowers Persephone loved. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.